I'm Christiane Karam. I'm on faculty here. I'm originally from Beirut, Lebanon.
I'm Micaela Catani from Quito, Ecuador.
Hi, my name is Agnay Mulay. I'm a 9th semester student from India.
I'm very cautious with the word disability. I actually don't believe in this word very much. I feel that it is very damaging as a label, and it conditions one to feel very different, with a negative connotation of what different could be. I think that we're all part of systems, and we also have the incredible ability to create systems, and I think not being able in a particular way creates infinite possibilities in all kinds of different ways. And so I'm a big fan of the differently able label.
For me, a disability or having a disability is not something that necessarily defines a person and doesn't stop anyone from achieving whatever they want to achieve or their best self. It's just something that might make it a little bit more challenging. It's a challenge.
Disability, in my opinion, is the inability to do something either due to a condition that you were born with, or due to some kind of accident or injury during your life.
I grew up in Beirut, Lebanon during the Civil War, and obviously that was not a great time to be worried about any kinds of differences like that, whether physical or mental. So I grew up around a lot of people who ended up on the streets because they had been maimed or injured during the war, and there were no systems to help reintegrate them in society, especially in a place that was we're talking daily bombings and all kinds of emergency situations in a chronic way, which is like twice as devastating as chronic by itself or acute by itself. Same with mental difficulties. There was not a lot of space. I was never a priority in a country that was struggling so much. My sense is that that's gotten a lot better over the last couple of decades. Of course, it's in many parts of the world, it has ways to go, but I do see a difference, and I do appreciate a lot of what's being done in the United States, even though as I said, the labeling part I believe could use some working.
Well, repeating the beginning, I'm from Ecuador, and I think sadly in Ecuador a disability has a bad connotation, and for example, if it's something mental, like a mental disability or like psychological disability, people don't really, I don't want to say care, but don't really support it as much. Like they wouldn't try to understand and help you as much as they would maybe just like push you away. In terms of like a physical disability, sadly it's also not very respected. Like at least I remember my high school, we didn't have ramps in every staircase. We didn't have that at all. Which is something that also sadly many people don't realize because we don't have that specific disability. But yeah, in Ecuador it's not really that taken in account.
As far as I know, disabled people in my country they are integrated in the sense that they are kind of forced to adapt to the situation around them, not necessarily because things are provided for them or situations are made more convenient for them. There are special schools for specially able people, but in terms of integrating them into the general population, I don't think enough measures have been taken.
I can speak both for here, since I've been here for 20 years, and a little bit for Lebanon, since I still visit on a regular basis. So back home, as I said, I do see a difference because the country's not in constant survival mode in that very extremely urgent way anymore, even though there's a lot of, still economically and otherwise there are big problems. But there's extremely creative youth that's doing incredible work with all kinds of organizations and with abuse and substance abuse and with all kinds of mental and physical difficulties. So definitely compared to when I was there, I definitely seen improvement. Here, you know, I always thought it was coming from what I come from. I always thought it was much better, and I always appreciated how respected it was. You know, that particular those populations where there were a lot of efforts to integrate them in the workforce and so on and so forth. Again, my biggest concern moving forward, or the ways I feel I could contribute, which I do with my students and the people I work with, is just really think about our perception and the fact that, you know, every single body and every single brain is completely different. You know, we share some commonalities, but the differences are not meant to single us out. The differences are meant to create more possibility for all of us. So I've learned, so I've worked with autistic kids as a counselor in the past. I've worked with all kinds of differently able children and grown-ups, both mentally and physically. I consider myself to be one, and I think it's a beautiful thing. We just need to learn to look at it that way so we can embrace it and all help each other find our full potential.
In terms of improvements, I'm gonna talk specifically about the US or my experience in the US. I think in here, like in this country in general, it has improved a lot, the way people think about it. I'm gonna be more specific about like psychological disabilities. Like people now respect that so much more. They like having a support dog. It's something that a lot of people respect, and also you see that around a lot more. Even, for example, here, I work at the library, we do have new strict rules about service dogs or support dogs and what they can, like where they can go or not, you know, and I've seen that happening around a lot, so I think that's good that now they are taken in account and like it's something, you know, it's written down, it's a rule, it's a thing, so I think that's great. In terms of improvement, talking about the college as well, Berkeley, I do think they have to improve things of physical disabilities. There's still a lot of challenges I've seen for a lot of people. Or, for example, I talked to someone in Boko and they say they also don't have ramps, and they were saying like, oh, because we should and we're dancers, but that has nothing to do with that. You know, like a lot of people can come visit, or even like if a dancer breaks a leg, they have like no ramps to go up. So I think there's a lot to improve still, but yeah.
Some of the things I've seen that, particularly since coming to the US, is that like, at least in the space that I visit most frequently, which is the Berkeley Williams and the local transport system, which is the MBTA trains, I see that they've made the trains very accessible for people in, say, wheelchairs or something. A lot of, like when I see here the buildings, every room has like the Braille script right outside, so we have not a lot of blind students, but I've seen handicapped students who not, it's easy for them to access every possible resource in the college, and I feel like that should be applied in more places, particularly back home.